This differentiated activity consists in improvising motifs and evaluating them. And when I evaluate a motif as a pass, as a good motif, I have to save it, put it on storage. And then I spend a few bars improvising around that motif. And then I'll quote the motif again. This activity is challenging for a number of reasons. On the one hand, the motifs that I produce have to be interesting enough that I want to hear them again, but at the same time they have to be simple enough that I can memorize it really quickly. And a tip I can give you is that you play the motif, and if you evaluate it as pass, then you want to spend a fraction of a second thinking about how it felt on the fingers, for example, or about the pitch contour. You want to think about it for an extra second and put it on storage. After that, then you move on to improvise around the motif. Now, the other challenging thing about this activity is precisely that whatever I do around the motif, what comes after the original motif, if it's evaluated as a pass, has to be related to the motif. And I recommend that you keep it simple so that it remains, whatever you play remains relevant to the motif. It's somehow derivative of the motif. So for example, you play a motif, you give it a pass, and then maybe you want to quote a fragment of the motif, perhaps the end, perhaps then those 2 or 3 notes of the end and add a little tag, perhaps sequence the end a little bit, and then you go back to the original motif. Sometimes I evaluate a motif as a fail. I'm not happy with how the motif came out. But in my next motif, actually what I'm doing is tweaking that failed idea a little bit and see if I can make it work. We start developing a sense of what we want to hear in a motif. And this is nothing else but developing a personality as an improviser. So this exercise is very helpful for that purpose. Good luck.